out to Socrates. Socrates still trying to get the opening. Oh, Socrates! Whoa!
And there it is. The crazy gang have beaten the Culture Club.
Maggie Thatcher, can you hear me? Maggie Thatcher, your boys took the hell of a beating. Your boys took the hell of a beating.
Welcome to Paragraph 4, subsection module 1.16 of 1979-80 Revisited. We finally reached the end of the road, Dave, as far as the third round's concerned. And it's Old Trafford. It's the replay. It's Manchester United versus Tottenham. ITV did the coverage for the initial game. It's the BBC cameras that are at Old Trafford for this one. David Coleman again, coaxed out of semi-retirement on his football commentary career. Probably clearly looking forward to the Olympics rather than doing this gibberish by now. He seems to be thinking, and it's not the greatest game, Dave, but it is iconic.
There's drama aplenty, isn't there?
There's drama aplenty.
That's the crux of it.
It is very much the crux of it. It's an unchanged starting lineup for Manchester United again. Gary Bailey, Jimmy Nicholl, Stuart Houston, Samuel McElroy, Gordon McQueen, Martin Buchan, Steve Coppell, Ray Wilkins, Joe Jordan, Lou Macari, Mickey Thomas, but with Andy Ritchie the sub this time. Dave Sexton determined that this game will finish. This tie will finish tonight, Dave. He's opting for a striker on the bench to make the difference if needs be.
Yes, these are the days when you could have 4, 5, 6 games before you played to a finish. Extra time from the second one onwards. None of this penalties nonsense. Get rid of all that rubbish. You play until you drop. This is what you play till the FA Cup.
Play till you drop. It could take months, given the weather as well. Pat Partridge again, the referee, Tottenham side. There is one change. Chris Jones isn't fit, having limped out of the initial game a few days earlier. Jerry Armstrong returns, Dave. So, yeah, Milija Aleksic, Chris Hughton, Paul Miller, Terry Yorath, Don McAllister, Steve Perryman, Osvaldo Ardiles, the aforementioned Jerry Armstrong, along with a 17-year-old Terry Gibson, who could just as easily look the part getting tangled up in his own raffle tickets and toilet rolls thrown from the side of the pitch as the ball boy. Glenn Hoddle, Ricardo Villa, John Pratt remains as substitute. Gary Bailey was a vague doubt, Dave, apparently, prior to this game. He was nursing a cold.
Yes. You can't be missing a game like this for a cold, can you? These are the days where replays took place 3 days, 4 days after the original one. You were straight up there on the Tuesday or the Wednesday night, so there was no time to waste. But I mean, I don't know how they got tickets printed and programs printed and all of that sort of stuff back in the day, given that now we have to have at least a fortnight's notice before we can put a game of football on, which is bizarre, really, given technology should make these things easier, except it doesn't.
It doesn't indeed. It was fascinating. I've seen like some Liverpool ones where hypothetical replays where the first batch of tickets are actually printed out, and it's kind of specimen is kind of like planted over them and stuff like that. So they are primed prior to the certainly Anfield they were primed for. Yeah, it's a game of few chances, I think we would have to say about this game, Dave. It's not got as many chances as the first one has by any means of the imagination, but it has a lot that it didn't have in the first game, though, inclusive of goalkeeper extraordinaire for Tottenham, emergency goalkeeper extraordinaire for Tottenham, a certain Glenn Hoddle.
We'll come on to this in fuller detail when we get to the second half, but I mean, this is the glory of proper football before fools came in and allowed things like substitute goalkeepers, ruining all our entertainment. Who genuinely, nobody wants to see a goalkeeper go off injured, obviously, or sent off. Well, perhaps you might want to see him sent off, but nobody wants to see a proper goalkeeper coming on and replacing him. Nobody. I don't care who it is. You want to see, your left back going in goal or something. That's what you want. You want the prime entertainment of, he's got to wear the goalkeeper's shirt, and the goalkeeper's like 12 inches taller than him. He's got sleeves around his knee. That's what you want. This is the glory of proper football. Chaos. That's what we want. Chaos.
It is. It's chaos is very much required, and goalkeepers going off injured or sent off, and outfield players going in was a massive part of this. But before we get to that, the first half, like I say, gave him a few chances really. Jimmy Nicol, deep cross from the right. McAllister denies Jordan. There's a scramble at a corner, Dave. Reassuring scramble. We like a penalty box scramble, which doesn't seem to translate to the modern game at all. Aleksic makes a fine save from Mickey Thomas. It is a fast start from Manchester United. There's an electric atmosphere again, which just kind of like ties into to how glorious the FA Cup was. And Aleksic is a bit busy in the early exchanges. He makes another save from Wilkins. And at times, the Tottenham defence is all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, there's one glorious moment where Terry Orloth is fast asleep as Mickey Thomas comes in from behind him to get hold of the ball and fires a shot. It's a good save from Aleksic to tip it over. And United, from what we see anyway on the highlights, they've got Spurs penned in pretty much through that first half, but without really getting too many clear chances. There's another decent save from a Wilkins shot from distance, and McElroy fires over at full stretch, but there's nothing. Beyond that first good save from Thomas, there's nothing really that's making you think that Spurs are going to get into this game. It's all United. It's largely one-way traffic right until just before the break. Actually, Terry Orloth finally does wake up and atone with a decent shot.
He does, and Gary Bailey's equal to it. Possibly going wide, but Bailey's taking no chances. And with the cameras knocking around, he's probably seen himself by now on the opening montage of the big match for his saves at Tottenham in recent times, because there's the league game that they had at White Hart Lane where they won not all that long in the past as well. Terry Gibson, possibly the best opening for Tottenham, apart from Yora's shot from distance. He gets onto the end of a Hoddle through ball. It's a chance, but it's blocked by Bailey and cleared by Nicol. And that's the sum total of the first half. Shadow boxing, a few flurries here and there. It's very much, I don't know, a bit of Sugar Ray Leonard versus Marvin Hagler here. There's a lot of hype. There's a flurry here and there, but there's no killer punch.
No, not as yet. We'll find one fairly shortly. It doesn't quite kill him, but we'll find it in a bit. But no, I mean, United on top, but not really. With the kind of venom that we've seen in some of the other games in the league, where they've been well on top, particularly at Old Trafford. This is particularly against Arsenal actually over Christmas. So it's a bit. There's plenty of blood and thunder, but no real quality in that first half.
Yeah, there's drama and tension at play rather than artistry going on into the second half. Aleksic, another save. It's low and to his right. It's a fine shot from McElroy, but then comes the moment, Dave. Joe Jordan meets Milija Aleksic, and there are recriminations and a goalkeeper who is flat out.
Joe Jordan, I think you could safely say, made a career of never taking any prisoners whenever the ball was anywhere to be won, and he collides with Aleksic in mid-air, much to the disgust of various Manchester United, many Tottenham players rather. And Alexic's in a heap for quite some considerable time. Keith Birkinshaw's on the pitch, which, given that John O'Hare was booked in a couple of paragraphs ago for having his quick word with Trevor Francis on the touchline, I mean, I can't work out how Keith Birkinshaw's allowed on the pitch, but anyway, there he is. Ultimately, Aleksic has to get carried off in such a bad way that they can't even take his goalkeeping shirt off him to pass on to anybody else, so that somebody has to go down the tunnel and rescue a shirt from out the dressing room. And eventually it's Glenn Hoddle, of all people, who takes on the goalkeeping shirt with I suppose at least half an hour of normal time still to play. Yeah,
if you're going to throw in extra time to this one, which we eventually do, Glenn Hoddle will play in this game for as long as Aleksic does. It's round about the hour that this incident happens. Aleksic is stretchered from the pitch, not with the labouring of another match that we spoke about a paragraph or two ago. The Old Trafford stretcher bearers seem to be on the game there. Aleksic would eventually be reported that he ended up with a fractured upper jaw, Dave, in this coming together with Joe Jordan. A badly gashed lip, smashed teeth, and right knee ligament injury. That is Jordan, by the way, comes away with a bruised thigh.
Yeah, that's pretty much Joe Jordan's modus operandi. Yeah, yes. I mean, you know, what can we say? You knew you were in a game when you played against Joe Jordan. I mean, I remember in the FA Cup a couple of seasons before at the Albion, he broke John Wiles' jaw, a touchline altercation. So Joe Jordan's got plenty of form for this.
He's got a track record for it. To be fair, when you see the two go together, it doesn't look.
It just looks like
it just looks like a collision.
Yeah.
And to be fair, in the press in the days to come, Terry Yorath would state, it was Terry Yorath, gives the benefits of the doubt here as he would do. It was a 50-50 ball, and Tottenham were viewing it as an accident. Jordan would go and visit Aleksic at Tottenham's Cheshire Hotel. Tottenham were set to play Manchester City at the weekend day, so rather than go home, they just went to a Cheshire hotel and stayed for a few days. Yeah, but it was just one of those. There's no malice there. They're just going for the ball.
Yeah.
Even in Joe Jordan's, Joe Jordan corner maybe. But yeah, it wouldn't even make Kenny Burns' call.
No, the problem is that if you did collide with Joe Jordan was made out of granite. So unfortunately, you would always come off worse. But if you bounced off Joe Jordan,
you certainly would. And within that, like you say, it's Glenn Hoddle who picks it. There seems to be a problem in deciding who this should be, and it's almost as if Hoddle takes it upon himself to make the decision. No one seems to be. There's very much a "don't look at me" element to the Tottenham players, to the point that it's such a bizarre thing, though, isn't it? You think if Tottenham are going to kind of like get something like this, then they're going to need Glenn Hoddle's kind of like vision to open up an opportunity. But one of the most visionary players, if not the most visionary player on the pitch, goes in goal, Dave.
And as well, these were the days when there was no substitute goalkeeper. So you would have thought everybody would have known before the game, right? Well, he goes in goal. Then if something happens, he's the one that goes in goal. Simple as that. But now there's Keith Birkinshaw isn't inundated with offers, is he, to find himself a new goalkeeper? It's very much look the other way and hope he picks somebody else. I mean, again, you would have thought, I don't know, a centre half, a big bruising centre half would go in goal, or maybe Jerry Armstrong, big fella at the other end, kind of thing. But no. It's there's not a lot of meat on Glenn Hoddle, is there? To be perfectly honest, perhaps that makes him a bit more agile. But you wouldn't have fancied him in another effort going for the ball with Joe Jordan, frankly.
No, you wouldn't. As odd as it is, 60 minutes of Glenn Hoddle in goal, because the game does go into extra time. I mean, beyond Hoddle taking up the gloves, we see one fine Manchester United move and a glorious Steve Coppell miss kick. There's a litany of glorious miss kicks within this third round of the FA Cup in 1980, Dave, and this is another of that litany. It's the moment where Manchester United should win the game, without a shadow of a doubt. We've got Mickey Thomas from the left with a chance where the ball spoons up and over the bar via Sammy McIlroy. The two comedy Keystone Cop moments in which Manchester United have a place in the fourth round of the FA Cup in the palm of the hand.
They're two great opportunities to score, and it's game over. But it happened so often in those days when an outfielder went in goal. You think, surely to God, look, what we're going to do now for the next 20 minutes is we're going to lump the ball into the box, high up in the air, hang the ball up there, and we're going to force him to come and make catches and come and make punches, and we're going to load, Joe Jordan and Gordon McGuinn on top of him, and he's going to have no chance. And none of that happens. There's no crosses coming in. There's no putting him under pressure. I mean, as you say, he's in goal for 60 minutes. Now, from a TV company's point of view, this is gold. You've got the outfielder in goal. We're going to show you everything that happens. Nothing happens. He doesn't make a single save. He doesn't have anything to do for 60 minutes. Now, fair play. That's good defending from Tottenham's perspective to keep him protected. But, I mean, my God, Manchester United must have had a free kick on the halfway line that you would just lump into the box or something and make him do something. But no, nothing happened at all. I don't know whether Whether they're affected by the fact that Alexic's gone off or what, I don't know. But it becomes curiously bloodless, doesn't it, from United after that?
It does. It is as if, of the two sides, the loss of Alexic seems to unsettle Manchester United far more than it does Tottenham. And as you say, an hour in goal for Glenn Hoddle, and we do not see any evidence of a save that he had to make. It's absolutely unreal. And if anything, getting into extra time encourages Tottenham to think, hang on a minute, we could do this. And Ricky Villa is quite omnipresent in the first period of extra time.
Yeah, there's a cross from Gibson, and Ricky Villa sort of wriggles his way into a shooting position, as he will do at Wembley, of course, in about 18 months' time. But a good save from Gary Bailey. Then there's another one. He leathers one past Bailey, hits the post, comes straight back into the goalkeeper's arms. But it's Tottenham now who look like they've got it going. And United just look confused somehow. They don't seem to know what to do. I mean, not only have you got an outfielder in goal, you haven't got to worry about Glenn Hoddle on the pitch neither. You would think that this is all the encouragement Manchester United need to go and win the game, but they fall apart really. There's no purpose to what they do after that.
Yeah, it's an utterly strange one. The chance where Villa hits the post, ball bounces back to Bailey. I mean, Bailey gets clattering from Terry Gibson again. Terry Gibson's wanting to show to put again. 17-year-old Terry Gibson is really enjoying his few days here in the FA Cup third round against Manchester United, isn't he?
Yeah, before he has to go back to school and do his homework or whatever he's doing. The school holidays have been extended after Christmas. I'm going to make the most of this.
Absolutely is. Second period of extra time, we actually see nothing apart from the goal that decides this game day from the footage that we've got, and it's a reasonable amount of footage from Sports Night that night, and it's Ossie Ardiles. After Villa had been such a danger in the first half of extra time, Ardiles is the man that breaks the deadlock in the 118th minute. The game is drifting towards its conclusion. A second replay is looming, but Ardiles, that dream of Wembley that he mentioned, he's gonna keep it alive at least for one more round.
A replay on neutral ground, probably at Villa Park on a Thursday night, exactly what you want. But no, I mean it's Villa who collects a clearance and gets the ball on and pulls it back. And it's a really nice finish from Ardiles in the end. It's a precise kind of lob across the goal into the far corner. Bailey's got no chance with that one. Yeah. When that goes in the 118th minute, and you've had 60 minutes against a goalkeeper who isn't a goalkeeper, and you end up chucking it in. I mean, Dave Sexton must have been going berserk at that stage. And Tottenham, they always used to say it much less these days, but they always used to talk about your name being on the cup. And from Spurs' point of view, they must have thought, lad, we've come through this without a goalkeeper. This might be our year. Not that it was in the finish. But, those are the kind of things that get you going, aren't they? But United, I mean, they must have been absolutely livid after that game.
It's their first defeat at home all season, Dave. And then this is part of what makes it all the more surprising, is that they've been imperious at Old Trafford. I think they've only drawn 2 games in the league. And, here they are suffering this reversal with Glenn Hoddle in goal for the visitors and not having tested him at all as far as we can see.
That would drive you mad, wouldn't it? You haven't forced him to make. I mean, occasionally when people went in goal from outfield, they would do something heroic, wouldn't they? They'd make 2 or 3 saves or whatever. But he hasn't done anything as far as we can make out. It's a very, very curious game.
It is a curious game, and what's probably more, is going to be more frustrating for Manchester United supporters is that, given that the 4th round draw has given the prize of Swindon Town in the 4th round, it's another reason to kick yourself in the dressing room for the Manchester United players.
Absolutely, it is, and now it's going to be although they're sort of pursuing Liverpool at the top of the First Division. I mean, those interviews that we saw over Christmas, the Lou Macari one and stuff, you could see that they don't believe that they're going to go and win the league. They're hoping, but they don't believe that they're going to go and do it. And so it's now looking like a long 3 or 4 months to the end of the season for United.
It does indeed. It does indeed. Other replay results, Dave. Rochdale and Bury, it was their first attempt actually after the initial postponement. They'll have to do it all over again. So it's going to be one of these that they're still playing the third round as the quarterfinals are looming. Up in the north there. Harlow Town, getting their win over Leicester City 24 hours before the Spurs win at Old Trafford. Blackburn and Fulham, again, first playing of the game because of postponements. Blackburn would go to Craven Cottage further down the line and win in the replay. Second division side being knocked out by Howard Kendall's third division Blackburn Rovers there. West Ham have knocked you out, Dave. 2-1 in the replay at Upton Park. Bitter disappointment.
Not entirely unexpected, to be perfectly honest. Significant day, though. One of two significant days in quick succession. Tony Brown came on as a substitute and scored his final goal for the Albion. 278, I think it was, in the finish. There was some dispute, which I started, that he might have got 279. But anyway, this is his last one.
His last one. Quite the marker at West Brom there, even in defeat. Portsmouth and Middlesbrough will need to do it all over again. Orient, 2-1 winners at home to Altrincham. A nervy night for Orient there. Arsenal, a nervy night for them at Highbury. 2-1 against Cardiff City. Crystal Palace and Swansea have shared a blood-curdling 3-3 draw and will replay yet again. Swansea will edge them out to add more woe to a season that started so well for the team of the 80s, Dave. Standout result there from the other replays that catches your eye?
That's it. I mean, that Crystal Palace Swansea one, and ultimately that they get knocked out. I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? The team of the 80s are already finished, and we're into about the 5th of January 1980, and they've already passed their peak.
They are indeed. Wigan Athletic will eventually win themselves a place into the next round, into the third round of the cup, by the way, with that win over the Northwich Victoria. Derek Brownbill, a former Liverpool reserve, with the last-minute winner to set up their belated third-round tie at Chelsea, which they will go on and win, Dave, as well. Another former Liverpool reserve player getting the goal at Stamford Bridge to set themselves up with an intriguing tie away at Everton, Dave. A little run down the fourth round draw for you as an appetizer for a few paragraphs down the line, subsections down the line. We've got Chester are going to go up against the Brick Throw Millwall. The Ipswich Town are off to Bristol City. It's Bury versus Burnley when they finally overcome Rochdale. Harlow Town's prize for seeing off Leicester City is a trip to Vicarage Road to face Graham Taylor's Watford. Nottingham Forest must have thought they were, having overcome Leeds United at Ellen Road, must have been hoping for a kind of draw in the fourth round, Dave. They've been drawn with Liverpool.
Oh dear.
They will face one another 4 times in a short space of time. There's a league game looming and the 2-legged semi-final of the League Cup. Blackburn Rovers are at home to Coventry. Bolton Wanderers at home to Halifax Town. Not sure who the favourite there, Dave. Having been touched by the fluence of Romark, Halifax are surely nailed on to win the cup.
If only it was at the Shay.
If only it was at the Shay. Wolverhampton Wanderers, we hope they've been given the right ball this time. Will be at home to Norwich City, unless it's supposed to be Wrexham. We'll keep you updated on that. Everton against Wigan, as mentioned. Tottenham have procured themselves that game against Swindon Town. We've got Carlisle Wrexham. Maybe it should be Wolves, who knows. Arsenal at home to Brighton. Birmingham City at home to Middlesbrough. Cambridge against Aston Villa. Orient against West Ham. And Swansea versus Reading. Pick of the ties there, Dave?
That's got to be Liverpool Forest, hasn't it, really? I mean, that's the blockbuster one that's coming, as you say, with it being a part of a 4-game feast across 3 or 4 weeks. That's the one to look forward to. It
is the one to look forward to. The last of our back page headlines that we've scattered around all 4 of these paragraphs. Crystal Palace, as part of this trilogy of games against Swansea City, they were a mid-injury crisis, to be fair to them. Ahead of the initial replay, Mike Flanagan, Peter Nicholas, Kenny Sanson were all definitely out. Jerry Francis, all but deemed unfit. seemed certain to join them on the sidelines. There were doubts over Paul Hinchelwood, Jim Cannon, Vince Hilaire, Dave Swindlehurst. Terry Venables was set to call up 2 untried teenagers, Les Carter and Gary Goodchild. They were on standby, along with 3 other youngsters, Terry Boyle, Neil Smiley and Tony Seeley, as well as the fit-again Mike Elwes. Venables stated, "At this stage, I can't even think about a team. It's so bad, it could be a case of whoever is fit gets a game." And in the 3-3 draw as well, by the way, that was played out, John Toshak played as a sweeper, Dave.
Blimey. Good grief. Terry Venables will have to get his boots back on as well.
Yeah, I'm sure he was probably wondering where he had placed them within all that as well. Away from the all things club-centric, on the international scene, the British Home Championship could be set to be scrapped, Dave, over fears of continuing hooliganism. FA plans that would see Scotland fans receiving no official tickets for the 1981 Wembley fixture were voted down by SFA legislators, 24-17. Reasonably close call on that vote there of the 41 individuals balloted. The SFA president Willie Hartness had pleaded at the meeting for the ticket ban to be accepted. Ted Croker, never out of the news there,
No, absolutely.
said last night, the Scots will have to provide an alternative plan.
Given what was to go on the following summer with England in Italy, it's a bit rich saying that the Scots were the ones causing all the problems with hooliganism, really. But I suppose after breaking the goalposts at Wembley, you can understand it.
You can.
You can see why. Particularly now, you can see why there's no home internationals anymore. But it's a shame it went, because it was a good end to the season. It was an entertaining end to the season, something. But
it was indeed.
No room anymore, I'm afraid.
No room for it at all. But all fascinating stuff. Dave, the FA Cup fourth round looms, but the third round has given us a lot to embrace. Favourite moments of the FA Cup third round that we've covered there.
If ever you want to know why the FA Cup is the greatest competition of them all, I think we've proved it beyond any shadow of a doubt over the course of this. It's just the most expensive footballer in England, briefly, Steve Daly, playing at the Shea, with kids running around the back of the pitch and the roof falling down. I mean, that was the glory of English football.
That is the highlight without a shadow of a doubt. And having had to seek re-election in 1979-80, up against the team who broke the British transfer record momentarily, but they did it. Led by the flamboyant yet downtrodden Malcolm Allison, who has a hex on him from the most. What was he from when we first tripped or re-tripped across him? Was deemed to be sport's foremost hypnotist.
Yes,
just wondrous. We could only.
That is the glory of English football, I have to say. I mean, no other country would you get all of this kind of stuff. This absolute madness. Sadly, it's all ebbing away nowadays. It's all a bit too sanitised. But I mean, my God, those were the years, weren't they?
Those were the years, which is why we're keeping them alive, reawakening them for us, for me and you, as much as everyone else. Dave, thank you so much. I look forward to the next one. Back to league action for the next 2 subsections. I think there's a couple of paragraphs on both of them before we venture into the fourth round of the FA Cup. 1979-80, revisited, spread the word. Your boys took hell of a beating. Join us again. Thank you and goodbye.